Hi students, in the previous class we discussed about the structure of skeletal myofiber. Skeletal myofiber. A skeleton inside the skeletal myofiber several parallelly arranged structures are present called as myofibrils, and myofibrils are with myofilaments that we discussed. A skeletal muscle shows what alternate light and dark bands like this. These light bands are because of what actin filaments, dark bands are because of what myosin filaments. Light band also called as what I band isotropic, dark band also called what A band anisotropic. In the previous class what we discussed, light band is uniform, dark band is not uniform, because these actin filaments to some extent they penetrates into the dark band. Means the lateral portions of the dark bands consist both actin and myosin filament, but the middle zone of dark band that consists only myosin filament. Myosin filament. That's why that is somewhat pale compared to lateral portions. This paler zone of dark band only called what? H zone. In this H zone a vertical hair-like line present, that is called what? M line. That is called what? M line. In each eye band a zigzag elastic membrane is present to which actin filaments are connected, that is called as Z line or crosses membrane. The portion of the myofibril between one Z line to another Z line, that only called as sarcomere. That only called as sarcomere, functional unit of muscle. Each sarcomere consists half I band, full A band, half I band. Z lines are present in the middle of each I band. Half I band, full A band, half I band, that constitutes one sarcomere. One sarcomere includes two Z lines and one M line. Sarcomeres in a muscle, in a skeletal muscle, were separated by Z lines. Separated by Z lines. Then again coming back to here, a skeletal muscle fibers. Actin, myosin are allotted. In I band, all these are actin filaments. But in A band, in each A band, myosin filaments are arranged in two sets. They runs up in opposite direction. A myosin filament consists head and tail, that we will discuss later. Tails of all myosin filaments are towards the M line, but the heads of 50% of myosin filaments are towards one Z line, and the 50% heads are towards another Z line. Here in each dark band myosin filaments are arranged in two sets running in opposite direction, parallel to one another. This you have to remember. Then coming to actin filaments, which are thin filaments, again this actin filaments consist actin protein, troponin protein and tropomyosin, my dear friends. Actin, it is a globular protein. Two elongated chains of actin proteins like this. These are called as F actin. These are called what? F actin. And this each F actin chain is made up of monomers called as G actin, globular actin. And tropomyosin, it covers the actin like this. It covers the actin like complete. Two filaments, here two filaments. Actin is occurring in two rows, two filaments, and the tropomyosin also two filaments of tropomyosin. Completely covers the actin like this. Then coming to the troponin, they are present at the regular intervals. Each troponin consists again three subunits. This is the TNC. This is what TNI. This is what TNT. TNT. What is TNC? To which calcium ions are binding at the time of muscle contraction. TNT, which binds with the tropomyosin. TNI, which inhibits the binding of TNT with the tropomyosin. At the time of muscle contraction, what happens? Whenever calcium ions binds to TNC, TNI gets inactivated, then allow the TNT to bind with the what? Tropomyosin, then TNT tropomyosin complexes forms. Means at some regions on the actin, tropomyosin is removed. Some regions are without tropomyosin. That regions only called as active sites. That regions only called as active sites where the heads of myosin binds. Where the heads of myosin binds. In the NCERT it is clearly given one of the subunit of the troponin masks or unmasks the active sites. Masks or unmasks the active sites. One of the subunit of troponin. Here actin and myosin we call them as contractile protein because they are responsible for muscle contraction. Coming to here, troponin and tropomyosin, they are regulatory proteins. They are regulatory proteins because they only masking or unmasking the active sites where the cross bridges are attaching, which leads to muscle contraction. Means muscle contraction is under regulation of what? These two. Troponin and tropomyosin are called as regulatory proteins. Then coming to myosin filaments, just now we discussed in each A band, two sets of myosin filaments occurs. They runs in opposite direction. These are thick filaments. Each myosin filament is a polymer made up of several monomers called as meromycins. Each myosin filament consists head with a short arm uncoiled and a tail. Okay, my dear friends, like head with arm and a tail. Head and arm portion consists more meromycin called what? HMM, heavy meromycin. Tail is light meromycin. All the tails of myosin filaments of one A band, they are towards the M line, attached to M line. But heads of 50% of myosin filaments are towards one Z line and 50% heads of myosin filaments are towards the another. Like in that way they are distributed. Then head consists two sites, one for binding to the active sites, another for binding of ATP. Head consists two sides, one for binding to the active site of actin filament, another for binding of ATP. And remaining pouch, it is rich in ATPase enzyme and also consists what? Magnesium ions. In presence of ATPase enzyme in the heads of myosin filament only, ATP is hydrolyzed to what? ADP plus inorganic phosphate, energy is released. Means in the heads only, chemical energy is converted to mechanical energy. That's why these myosin heads are also called as motor units. also called as motor units. Why these are called as motor units? Because in these heads only chemical energy is converted to what? Mechanical energy. ATP is hydrolyzed to ADP, that only releasing the enzyme. By utilizing that enzyme, cross bridges tilts towards the M line. This is about the structure of actin and myosin. Here actin filaments are penetrating into the myosin. Each myosin is surrounded by 6 actin filaments. Each actin is surrounded by 3 myosin. Okay, students. Then coming to after the structure of the skeletal muscle fiber, then coming to the contraction of muscle, contraction of a skeletal muscle. There is only one theory is there, proposed by Huxley and Hansen in the year 1969. This theory is called as sliding filamentous theory. Why it is called as sliding filamentous theory? Here one filament slides onto another. Which filament? Always the myosin filaments are stationary. Actin filaments are pulled onto myosin filament. That pulling of actin filaments onto sliding of actin onto myosin, that only leads to what? Muscle contraction. That's why it is called about sliding filamentous theory, proposed by Huxley and Hansen. According to this theory, muscle contraction involves first what? Depolarization of sarcolemma. Second involves release of calcium ions. Third is formation of active sites. Then formation of cross bridges. Then power stroke and recovery stroke. Depolarization of sarcolemma, release of calcium ions, formation of active sites, formation of cross bridges, power stroke and recovery stroke. Coming to first one, what is sarcolemma? Plasma membrane of a muscle is called as sarcolemma. The somatic motor fibers, they penetrate to the muscle. Finally, they are connected to the sarcolemma. Forms neuromuscular junctions. Also called as motor end plates. Neuromuscular junctions or motor end plates. As soon as the information reaches to this motor end plates, here acetylcholine is released. Neurotransmitter is released that causes depolarizations in sarcolemma. How this depolarization passes deep into the myofiber muscle cell? How calcium ions are released? For that, a triad system develops. What is triad system? Thus, this sarcolemma at regular intervals invaginates inside and forms a T tubule. The arms of T tubule comes in contact close with cisterna. This T tubule along with the two cisterna forms triad system. In case of mammals, This T-tubule triad system forms at AI junction, dark light band junction. The depolarization developed the sarcolemma passes through the T-tubule, reaches the cisterna, and from the cisterna, calcium ions are released. Then coming to the third, formation of active sites. The calcium ions which are released, just now we discussed, they binds with what? They binds with TNC subunit of troponin. Here calcium ion binds. As a result, TNI becomes activated. Allow the TNT to bind with what? Tropomyosin. All TNT tropomyosin complex forms. Now the some regions on the actin filament are unmasked, means no tropomyosin. That regions are called as active sites. Now this is one actin filament, another actin filament, a myosin M line. Here one myosin filament, another they are running opposite. The heads of myosin filament now binds to what? Exposed sites are active sites and forms cross bridges. This you have to remember. In this way, cross bridges are forming. After this, a molecule of ATP released from mitochondria enters into the head of cross bridges. There hydrolyzes to what? ADP plus inorganic phosphate, and the energy is released. By utilizing this energy, the heads cross bridges tilts towards the M line. Then the actin filament to some extent pulled onto myosin. Now the actin filaments cross bridges are like this. After that, immediately inorganic phosphate is released. Then another ATP molecule enters into this heads of cross bridges and pushes that ADP to outside. Binding of new ATP molecule to the heads causes this bond weak. Then cross bridges releases, they move to the original position. Again binds to the next active sites and the process repeats. Here first power stroke is taking place, then recovery stroke. Don't say power stroke results in contraction, recovery stroke in the relaxation. Both are part of contraction, both are active process only. For power stroke, the energy is coming from hydrolysis of ATP. For the recovery stroke, the energy is coming from binding of new ATP. This power stroke, recovery stroke completely pulls the actin filament onto myosin. That only leads to the shortening of myofibril. There in turn what? Myofiber, muscle contraction. This tilting of cross bridges towards right and left, that only called as ratchet mechanism. Or walk along phenomenon. Okay, my dear students. In this way, muscle contraction occurs. Go through the diagram that is given in the NCERT. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. From that also there is a possibility of question. One question. Then coming to at the time of muscle relaxation, which is a passive process, all the calcium ions are pushed back into cisterna. Then the TNI becomes activated. Then the tropomyosin, again that fills that active site, masks that active site, and the myosin filament moves to their original position. That only called as muscle relaxation. These are the points you have to remember, my dear students. Then coming to the muscle contraction is a physico-chemical phenomenon. Some physical changes are occur during muscle contraction, some chemical changes. What are physical changes? First we see, these are actin filaments. These are actin filament. These are myosin. Again, these are actin. At the time of muscle contraction, actin filaments are sliding onto myosin. Means they are penetrating deep into this, like this. As a result, previously the dark band is not uniform. The middle zone is called H zone. H zone completely disappears. H zone completely disappears. There is no change in the A band. There is no change in the A band. What happens to this I band? They either decreases or disappears. They either decreases or disappears, and Z lines they comes closer to A band. What are the structural changes that you are observing in a muscle? H zone completely disappears, but A band remains as it is. I band either decreases or disappears. Z lines comes close to A band. Z line comes close to what? A band. Okay, student, fast. Then what are the chemical changes? What are the chemical changes? Glycogen break down to what? Glucose. This glucose is subjected to what? Oxidation. As a result, carbon dioxide, water is produced, energy release, and ATP is hydrolyzed to what? ADP plus inorganic phosphate. ADP plus inorganic plus phosphocreatinine, which is a muscle phosphogen, that results in what? ATP plus creatinine. This creatinine only excretes along with the urine. These are the changes. Means in a contracted muscle, glucose levels falls down, ATP levels fall down, phosphocreatinine levels fall down. Which are increasing in a contracted muscle? Carbon dioxide, ADP, inorganic phosphate, creatinine levels increases. Which are decreasing, which are increasing, make a chart of that. Then coming to one more to discuss what Cori cycle. When a muscle is suffering from oxygen debt, means sufficient oxygen is not supplied to the muscle, then anaerobic breakdown of glycogen occurs. This glycogen in the muscle anaerobically breakdown of glucose to what? Pyruvate, and pyruvate to what? Lactic acid. Like this releases 2 ATP molecules. This releases what? 2 ATP molecules. But if this lactic acid, this is anaerobic degradation. If this lactic acid accumulates in the muscle, what happens? That leads to what? Muscle fatigue. Generally this does not happen. This lactic acid is carried to liver via blood. In the liver, 80% of lactic acid is converted to what? Again pyruvate. Pyruvate to what? Glucose. Glucose is converted to glycogen, returned back to the muscle, there is it is stored. Here conversion of pyruvate to glucose, it requires 6 ATP molecules. Conversion of pyruvate to glucose is a gluconeogenesis. This cycle is called as Cori cycle. This cycle is called what? Cori cycle. It also takes place in the liver. When a muscle is facing oxygen debt, glycogen converted to what? Glucose, anaerobically to what? Pyruvate, releases 2 ATP. Pyruvate to what? Lactic acid. Lactic acid is converted to liver, where 80% of lactic acid is converted to pyruvate to glucose, which requires 6 ATP molecules. This process, it is a gluconeogenesis. My dear friends. Then glucose converted to glycogen, returned back to the muscle. It is called as a Cori cycle. Then last to discuss is muscle, red muscle and white muscle. What is a red muscle? Why it is called so? Red muscle contains more amounts of myoglobin. That's why red muscle. But whereas in the white muscle, myoglobin levels are very less. That's why they appear colorless. They are called as white muscles. Red muscles are also called as aerobic muscles. Aerobic muscles. White muscles are anaerobic muscles. Anaerobic muscles. And red muscles are also called about oxidative muscles, because here the ATP is generated by the oxidation of glucose, and these are called as glycolytic muscles. Glycolytic muscles. Because the energy is produced by what? Anaerobic degraded glycogen, that is glycolysis. Then here more number of mitochondria present. More number of mitochondria. Here mitochondria are less. Here mitochondria are less, but ER, endoplasmic reticulum, sarcoplasmic reticulum more, here sarcoplasmic reticulum less. Here as mitochondria are more, as oxygen is there, never undergoes fatigue, but here they shows what? Short term high intensity contractions. Very soon undergoes fatigue, like eyelid muscles. Eyelid muscles, they are white muscles. Okay, students, thank you.